34-year-old Jabari Henley is the son of Eugene Henley, better known as Big U. Eugene Henley once managed Nipsey Hussle and is alleged to be the former leader of the Rollin' 60s Crips gang.
Got killed tonight. He has one son that plays for the Chargers and one son that does not. And I don't know which son it was that got killed. I think it's the son who doesn't play for the Chargers.
Breaking news out of South Central Los Angeles. Yeah, you heard that right. Folks, Nipsey Hussle's old block just turned into a real-life crime movie, and the internet can't stop talking about it. Halloween night wasn't just about costumes and candy this year. It was about bullets, sirens, and whispers that could shake the whole city. Big U's family just got hit his son. Go Nan, suddenly everyone's side-eyeing Blacc Sam like the next episode of Power just dropped in real life. Was it payback? Coincidence? Or karma finally clocking in after decades of street politics, secret deals, and cold silence? The same silence Blacc Sam's been known for: strategic, eerie, and louder than 1,000 statements. But here's the thing, when the man who built the marathon legacy doesn't say a word, that's when LA starts talking. The DMs, Reddit threads, and Twitter detectives are going crazy, calling this the most shocking twist since Nipsey's death itself. Because this isn't just another random killing. This feels like history getting revenge. And the craziest part, some say Blacc Sam's silence isn't grief, it's a message. So, let's get into it. What really happened on that block? And why is the entire city whispering one name again? The city of Los Angeles felt like it stopped breathing that Halloween night when word spread that Big U's son had been gunned down near Nipsey Hussle's old block. And what should have been another night of parties and costumes suddenly turned into another chapter in the never-ending cycle of violence that hangs over South Central like a dark cloud. And if you've been following this world long enough, you already know nothing here happens by accident. People were quick to connect dots faster than the police could tape off the scene, whispers turning into theories and theories turning into headlines. Because when a man like Big U takes a hit that close to home, the streets don't stay quiet for long, and right away the spotlight swung to one name: Blacc Sam, the man whose silence is often louder than any statement, and the kind of silence that makes people wonder if something bigger is brewing. To understand why this shook the city, you have to go back to the complicated bond between these two men who once stood shoulder to shoulder back when Nipsey was still selling mixtapes out of his trunk. Big U was the gatekeeper, the one with the keys to LA's underground music world and the streets that powered it. He opened doors for Nipsey, made calls to labels, brought muscle and mentorship, but that partnership eventually turned cold and quiet, and everyone who knew them could see the split coming, because Nipsey and Sam had one thing Big U didn't control, and that was a vision of independence, a dream of owning everything from their masters to their stores. They called it All Money In, and it wasn't just a label, it was a declaration that they no longer wanted to answer to anyone, and that shift changed everything. It was the moment loyalty became competition and friendship turned into rivalry. When Nipsey was killed years later, the air never fully cleared. Big U and Sam stayed on opposite sides of a silent line, pretending to keep peace, while years of tension kept simmering. Under the surface, people said it was over, but deep down everyone knew it wasn't. Not really, because in LA grudges don't expire, they just wait. And when news hit that Big U's son Jabari was shot near the very area that once symbolized unity, the whispers about payback and unfinished business began immediately. The talk wasn't just about who did it, but why on that block, why at that time. And that's where the story starts feeling less like coincidence and more like karma coming full circle, because for years Big U's name has been tied to power, control, and the kind of politics that blur the line between the streets and the industry. He's the man who built peace programs while being accused of running the same streets that caused the violence he preached against. And those contradictions follow him everywhere, no matter how much he tries to clean up his image. Meanwhile, Blacc Sam has stayed in the shadows, building businesses, protecting Nipsey's legacy, and keeping the marathon brand alive with quiet focus, never chasing headlines, never posting drama, but always being present in the city's heartbeat. He's the silent architect who turned tragedy into empire, and because he moves quietly, every silence from him feels deliberate. So when he said nothing about Jabari's murder, that nothing started to sound like everything. People started reading meaning into every move, every delay, every rumor, as if his stillness was a code waiting to be cracked. Some called it respect, others called it restraint. But the old heads on the block said it felt like a storm brewing, and that maybe this wasn't just a murder, maybe it was a message, one written in the language LA understands. Too well a reminder that history doesn't die, it just reloads. As the city tried to recover from the shock of that night, the story started spiraling in every direction because people in Los Angeles don't wait for facts, they build their own, and this one had all the ingredients of a conspiracy. The whispers said this wasn't random at all, that Big U's past was finally catching up, and that Jabari's death might have been the kind of hit that comes wrapped in revenge. Online detectives started dropping so-called leaks about phone calls, street camera footage, and mysterious cars seen circling the area hours before the shooting. Some even claimed they heard Jabari had been warned not to be in that neighborhood on Halloween but ignored it. Whether any of it was true didn't matter, because by then the story had become too big, too messy, too emotional. Every street in South Central had its own version of what went down, and every version ended the same way, with someone saying this was no coincidence. It didn't help that Big U himself had been under fire long before this tragedy. Federal agents had been sniffing around his name for months, digging into alleged ties with money laundering, community grant fraud, and even illegal weapons trades tied to street programs he helped build. It sounded wild, but then again, so do most of the stories that end up being true in this city. The timing was suspicious too. Big U's legal situation had reached boiling point. He was rumored to be cooperating with certain agencies in exchange for leniency, and some online voices started calling Jabari's death a message to remind everyone that loyalty isn't optional in Los Angeles. The phrase "the sins of the father" started trending after a few bloggers posted side-by-side photos of Big U and Jabari, with captions like "You can't escape your history." But Blacc Sam kept quiet. Not a post, not a story, not a reaction, just silence, the kind that felt almost too calm. And that made everyone talk even louder. On YouTube channels, podcasters were calling it the coldest move in years, saying Sam was waiting, watching, letting the streets write their own script before he made a move. Some claimed insiders close to Sam said he was handling it internally, whatever that meant, while others said he wanted no part in the mess. Still, his silence became the story itself. And behind all that noise, one thing became clear. Nipsey's old block wasn't just a place anymore. It was a symbol. It had seen too much blood, too many egos, too many ghosts refusing to rest. This was where legacies clashed, and every corner held a memory of what once was unity, and what now looked like revenge, dressed as fate. Then came the supposed leaks from a confidential police source that claimed investigators were looking into whether Jabari's killing could be tied to old internal disputes between two music groups that used to operate under the same umbrella back in the early 2010s. The names were redacted, but everyone already knew who they were talking about. The blogs ran headlines suggesting a deeper war between old allies now turned rivals. It was the kind of chaos that keeps Los Angeles spinning, the constant cycle of fame, money, betrayal, and loss that never seems to slow down. The tragic irony was that this all played out in the shadow of Nipsey's dream, the same man who preached ownership, peace, and generational wealth, only for those around him to get caught in the same violence he tried to end. And now, as cameras kept flashing outside candlelight vigils and reporters hunted for quotes, the city could feel it again, that strange mix of grief and anticipation, like something else was about to happen. No one could tell if this story was closing or just starting another chapter, but one thing was certain: South Central wasn't done talking, and neither was the world watching. So here we are again. Another life lost. Another headline echoing through the city. And another reminder that in Los Angeles, the past never stays buried. The question is, what do we do with it now? Because every silence, every rumor, every post only fuels the fire. Are we watching history repeat itself, or are we finally ready to break the cycle that keeps taking our legends and their families? You've seen the stories, you've heard the theories, and now it's your turn to decide what you believe. Was this karma, payback, or something deeper that no one's willing to say out loud? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you think really happened that night. And don't hold back, because in this city, truth is always stranger than fiction. If you want the next update the moment it breaks, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story isn't over. Not by a long shot. More secrets are coming, more names are about to surface, and when they do, you'll want to be here first. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and remember, in South Central, nothing ever happens by accident.